A week after the Key Bridge collapse, 11 News Investigates interviewed U.S. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg one-on-one to get answers about federal funding, the investigation, and helping victims and their families.
Investigative reporter Tali Taylor joins us now live in the newsroom. And Tali, there's been some pushback in Congress after President Biden said the federal government would pay for the rebuild.
Yeah, there has been. And I asked Buttigieg about the plan to get bipartisan support to fund the rebuild, when a shipping channel would be open, and the timeline for rebuilding the bridge. In a one-on-one interview with 11 News Investigates on Tuesday, U.S. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg reiterated that President Biden intends to pay the entire cost of rebuilding the Key Bridge, despite some pushback in Congress.
And my message to any member of Congress who's hesitating about that is your district could be next. Look, at previous times in American history, the country has pulled together to support a part of our country that was hurting. After the Minnesota bridge collapsed, Congress was able to pass funding within a matter of days.
Buttigieg says Maryland officials haven't requested any additional funding besides the $60 million that was approved last week. We asked Buttigieg about announced plans to open a channel 25 feet deep to allow cargo ships to enter the port of Baltimore. When will that be ready? And when it is ready, how many ships will be able to get through there every day?
I haven't seen a definitive timeline on that yet. As you likely know, there's an 11-foot channel that's helping with salvage operations. When you get to the 25-foot channel, that means considerably more vessels can pass through, but still not the same as the 50-foot channel that will ultimately be cleared that allows those heavy cargo vessels to go through.
Former Transportation Secretary Ray LaHood told Politico it would take a couple years to plan the rebuild and then several years to actually rebuild it. Do you agree with that timeline?
Right now, there is a lot of work going into questions like whether the bridge should be placed back the exact way it was, or whether it is time to look at a different design, which could mean a longer timeline, but could bring other benefits as well.
11 News Investigates reported on Monday that the owner of the dolly filed a petition in federal court to cap the total liability payout at roughly $44 million. It's now up to a judge to decide. If the owner of the dolly is able to put a cap on the amount for the payout, will the federal government help compensate victims and victims' families?
So what I can speak to right now is the funding that we have to respond in terms of the port and the bridge. I also know that there is going to be a very intense process of assigning accountability and liability. In the past, there have been cases where the federal government, on behalf of taxpayers, has recovered some of the costs associated with repair work that we funded while all of that litigation was going on.
Hey, Tali, back to that 25-foot deep shipping channel. Seems like that one will be key, and you pressed Buttigieg on that.
Yeah, and he says he hasn't seen any estimates on when that will be ready, but he says the twisted metal from the bridge that's underwater is even more complex and difficult to manage than initially expected. And he says the only thing that's more important than opening that 25-foot channel quickly is doing so safely.
All right, Tali, thank you. You can find Tali's full interview with Secretary Buttigieg online, and we have a full timeline of the events leading up to the collision that caused the collapse, along with links to resources to families of victims, where to report debris washing ashore, and disaster loan assistance. It's all in the WBAL-TV app.